The year is 865 AD. A great fleet of Viking ships has just returned to their Scandinavian homeland after a successful raid on a Frankish monastery. The men are celebrating their victory with a feast, and their leader, a legendary warrior named Ragnar Lothbrok, is being honored as a god. But there's a twist. Ragnar isn't actually Ragnar Lothbrok. He's a low-level nobody from the village who got lucky, and now he's got to live up to the expectations of his fellow Vikings. But before we get into that, let me explain how this all went down. You see, back in the day, there was a group of guys called the Vikings. They were known for their badass ships and their even more badass beards. One day, they decided to go on a little trip to a nearby monastery. Now, normally, a place of worship would be off limits, but these guys weren't normal. They were Viking. So they sailed right up to the shore, pulled out their swords, and started cutting people's heads off. It was a total nightmare. And as the monks were running for their lives, one guy named Ragnar Lothbrok popped into the courtyard. He was tall and handsome, with a flowing beard and a mischievous grin. The monks stopped their escape and turned to face their new captor. Ragnar raised his sword and yelled, "Submit, foolish mortals, for I am Ragnar Lothbrok, the son of a legendary Viking warrior." The monks were so scared they didn't even bother putting up a fight. And before they knew it, they were all tied up and ready to be taken back to Ragnar's ship. As they sailed away from the monastery, Ragnar couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. He had captured the most sacred of places without breaking a sweat. But then he turned to his crew and realized that none of them were scared of him at all. In fact, they were laughing. "What's so funny?" he asked. And one of the crew members said, "Dude, you totally just got owned by a bunch of monks. That's hilarious." Ragnar was furious, but he knew they were right. He hadn't exactly lived up to his legendary status. So when they returned home, he came up with a plan to make everyone take him seriously. He gathered his fellow Vikings around and announced that he needed their help to create the ultimate propaganda film. He wanted to show the world how strong and scary he was, even if it wasn't true. The Vikings agreed, and together they created a film that would make Ragnar a legend. Now hold up, because we're gonna need some sound effects. Cue the epic music as Ragnar strides across the frame, brandishing his sword and shield. He's a true warrior, even if he doesn't know it yet. With the help of his trusty crew, he'll defeat any enemy that stands in his way. But will he be able to keep up the charade? Only time will tell. So there you have it, a tale of bravery, deceit, and the power of film. The end.